Jamaica is one of our largest trading partners in the Caribbean, with bilateral trade in goods exceeding $3 billion in 2025. Americans account for more than 70% of the tourists visiting the island. And Jamaica is a key security partner and a founding member of the America's Counter-Cartel Coalition combating narcotics trafficking in the region. These deep economic, security, and personal ties are the foundation of a strong and enduring relationship. Under the Trump administration, we are renewing our focus on strengthening partnerships in the Western Hemisphere, recognizing that our neighbors are vital partners in creating mutual security and prosperity. If confirmed, I will focus on 4 priorities. First, keeping Americans safe, protecting the tens of thousands of U.S. citizens living in Jamaica, along with the roughly 2 million who visit each year, is a core responsibility. With hurricane season now underway and after 2 devastating storms in the past 2 years, it's especially important that this role is filled soon and actively engaged to work with the Jamaican government to strengthen preparedness, improve coordination, and respond effectively to future disasters.
Wagwan, my Jamaican family, and once again welcome back to the Yadi Reacts. If it is for the first time you are checking me out, kindly subscribe, like, and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I'd want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving on to me. Whereby today, guys, our video today is very much of a great video, and whereby on June 18, 2026, this year, Kari Lake was sent to Jamaica, and the real reason America sent Kari Lake to Jamaica, it's not what you think. Whereby, as I told you earlier on June 18, 2026, Kari Lake appeared before the United States Senate Committee for her confirmation hearing as US Ambassador-Designate to Jamaica, and over 5 separate exchanges like addresses Jamaica's strategic importance as a U.S. partner in the Caribbean, the growing challenge of violent crime, the deepening influence of China in the region, and the direction of US-Jamaica relations under the current administration. And onto this video, it compiles 5 key experts from that hearing, which unfiltered, so that Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora can hear in Washington's own word how their island is being discussed at the highest levels of US powers. And here into our video, if after watching the video you are going to understand how the US government currently views Jamaica's strategic value in the Caribbean and the Chinese influence near Jamaica, whereby you are going to identify the specific concerns Washington has raised about Chinese influence near Jamaica, and the essays what Kari Lake's appointment signals about the direction of US-Jamaica relations under the current US administration. And there is the explanation to others why Jamaica is now at the center of US-China geopolitical contest that most local media have underreported. And in this video, you will discover again how Lake described Jamaica as one of the America's most important partners in the Caribbean, her Senate testimony on crime and what the US intends to do about it, and her direct warning about China's presence, in her words, right here in our front yard, what the US expects from Jamaica in the context of great power competition, and again why this hearing matters more for Jamaicans than any local news bulletin has reported. So I want you guys to watch this entire video to the end, and I'll be back with more.
The United States and the American people stood firmly with Jamaica during its recovery from the catastrophic Hurricane Melissa and acted with compassion and generosity. If confirmed, I will build on that commitment and ensure this critical work continues. Second, strengthening security cooperation. I will work closely with the Jamaican government to dismantle transnational criminal organizations, disrupt drug trafficking, and combat financial scams targeted at vulnerable Americans. And third, advancing American economic interest. I will advocate for U.S. businesses' work to address trade barriers, such as Jamaica's long-standing restrictions on U.S. pork exports, and promote American investment, especially as Jamaica continues to rebuild. I will work to ensure American companies can compete and succeed as we deepen our economic partnerships with Jamaica. And fourth, we must counter China's growing economic influence less than 500 miles from our shores. The Chinese Communist Party has made strategic investments across the Caribbean in ports, infrastructure, and critical sectors that carry long-term security implications. In a region this close to the United States, those efforts are not just economic, they are strategic. I will work to ensure that Jamaica continues to choose transparency, sovereignty, and partnership with the United States over dependence on actors whose interests do not align with our shared values. Jamaica's democratic traditions, strategic location, and resourceful and strong citizens make it an indispensable partner in the Caribbean.
In your opening statement, you mentioned working with the Jamaican government to combat lottery scams that target vulnerable American victims to the tune of $300 million annually. Jamaica has struggled for years to prosecute these networks domestically. If confirmed, what practical resources or support would you pursue to encourage more effective cooperation between our law enforcement agencies to stop these scams?
Thank you for asking that question, Senator. I think people think, how could you get scammed out of your life savings? But there are some bad actors in Jamaica who have really honed the skill of bilking people out of their money through these lottery scams and other financial scams. And so we will work very closely with Jamaican law enforcement officials. We already have a great relationship. We'll work with our counterparts at the State Department, and we will work with local law enforcement here in the United States to make sure that we're doing everything we can to alert people to this problem, because I think a lot of people unsuspectingly don't even realize that they're obviously being caught up in a scam, and then prosecute people to the fullest extent of the law. And I will put pressure on the Jamaican government, if I'm confirmed, to really prosecute and take seriously these types of crimes.
Ms. Lake, I want to come back to you on a related topic here, and that has to do, beyond your normal role as ambassador, you're going to be responsible for an interagency effort to deal with US-Jamaica counter-narcotics efforts. And that's going to require leading a team that has personnel in the State Department side and in law enforcement. Can you just illuminate us in terms of how you plan to approach that challenge?
Thank you so much for the question, and I want to commend the people who are on the ground in Jamaica. From what I understand, they're doing incredible work working with the Jamaican authorities. We're taking the incredible knowledge we have in law enforcement here in America. We have also in investigations, and we're helping to train additional forces in Jamaica. And we'll be working with the Department of War. I understand that they are very much hot on bringing down these narco-terrorists. Most of the drugs, from what I understand, are coming from Colombia, about 40% of the drugs coming from Colombia. And they stop at Jamaica, and then they go out to other areas. Some of them are making their way into the United States. One death from fentanyl or overdose from drugs, in my opinion, is one death too many. And I'm glad we have a president who's taking this issue seriously. Fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction, and I think that the people of Jamaica deserve the safety that their government is now working to help provide. They've brought down the murder rates by 43%, from what I understand, in the country. They're making huge progress in making Jamaica a safer country, and I think the people of Jamaica deserve that, and the people of America deserve that as well.
Ms. Lake, what can you tell us about your take on the best way to help Jamaica? As ambassador, confirmed, you intend to focus more on aid or on lifting trade burdens, on increasing economic opportunities for the island?
Thank you, Senator Lee, for that question. I think it's an, if confirmed, we're going to look at everything. We're going to hit the ground running and look at ways to expand American business opportunities and try to level the playing field, because right now, as we know, when we're competing with for a contract or a tender with the CCP or CCP-controlled company, oftentimes they'll underbid the United States. We want to make sure that we're working with Jamaica to make sure that there's a level playing field so that American businesses have a real shot to do great work. We know that we provide better quality work. We hire Jamaicans, and we want to make sure that we're assisting and also allowing for American companies to expand. I think there's big companies that could help right now. There's a huge need as they're rebuilding after this Category 5, which devastated especially the southern and western part of the island. And if we don't take an active approach to getting American companies in to bid and get some of these big purchases and big jobs, we're going to see the vacuum filled by more Chinese influence in that country. And that's concerning to me. I think it's concerning to both sides of the aisle when it comes to what China has done and their influence so close to home.
We've seen that all over this hemisphere, in many parts of Central and South America. China gaining footholds, putting a base in Argentina, for example. A lot of increased ties with Brazil, with the current government in Colombia, just to name a few. I would imagine that adding Jamaica to the list, securing significant foothold in Jamaica would be a huge feather in the cap for the CCP folk who really want a massive inroad at the doorstep of continental United States of America. What do you think that is the best antidote to that, and how can you work with the Jamaican government to discourage that from happening?
Yes, right now the Chinese have a massive stake in one of the key ports in Kingston. I think they have a 49% control over it, and that puts us at risk. And so we need to rebalance things and work with the Jamaican government on that. And, not just big businesses, there's small businesses as well. I love this story. We all know that Jamaica has incredible athletes. They dominate in track and field and in gold medals. The fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt. I mean, we all watched as he wowed the world. But they're one of the only tropical climates that also has a winter Olympic team in
bobsled.
In their bobsled. And actually, a company in Utah, backcountry, does the outfitting for that team, the Jamaican bobsled team, which I think is very cool. I mean, we definitely want big projects, but we want to encourage all kinds of American businesses to invest in Jamaica and Jamaicans to invest in America as well. You can buy a lot of things in Jamaica. You can show up and not have swim trunks, and you can purchase those. You can purchase beach towels, whatever you need, shorts and shirts, but you cannot purchase winter parkas in Jamaica. And
I would imagine it would have limited utility in Jamaica.
It would. You just don't need it. So I think there's a real opportunity to work with our partners, our neighbors. Jamaica, an incredible country, and I'm looking forward to it.
There's a growing sense that gang violence is becoming more of a problem throughout the Caribbean, and the growing concern that some of this is a spillover effect from Haiti, which has been really had a big problem with gang violence. Any thoughts on how best the United States can work with Jamaica in order to bring that problem under control?
Well, thank you for the question. Thank you for mentioning Haiti. I know that not only is the United States taking an active role with the gang suppression force down there, but Jamaica is as well. Jamaica has some very talented individuals that are on the ground. I think the second in command, from what I understand, in this gang suppression activity that's happening and the work to stabilize Haiti is a Jamaican. So it's in Jamaica's interest, it's in the United States' interest, it's really in the Caribbean interest to make sure that we can solve some of the serious problems in Haiti, and we'll be focusing on that if confirmed.
The Chinese ambassador in Jamaica said in May that President Xi Jinping emphasized that Jamaica is a strategic partner of China. What's your assessment of China's strategic objectives in Jamaica, and really what are their true motives there?
Thank you, Senator Curtis, and yes, thank you for the time that you afforded me in your office. I enjoyed getting to know you as well. I had never met you before, and I sometimes have to go and prove to people I don't have horns growing out of my head because the media has done a number on me. So thank you for giving me the chance.
As I mentioned, as a Utahn, sometimes we have that same problem. With
media is tough there too, huh?
Well, people thinking we have horns.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, and you're our neighbor, Utah. We love Utah. We have a lot of good friends who live there as well. So thank you so much. I think I'm learning a lot more about it. I don't know as much as you, and I appreciate your service on the Western Hemisphere Committee as the chairman. And we talked a little bit about it, but there's massive concerns, not just from their strategy of taking a huge section of the ports, but also when you look at the 5G and the telecom, with Huawei expanding, it's very concerning what could happen. There's always strings attached with China, And the question is, do you want all of the information going through Huawei, where you all of a sudden would have that information being trickled back to the CCP and China? There are massive concerns, and as there's need right now to rebuild, has created a lot of opportunity for companies to come in. I'd rather see, and I know you would and everybody here, American companies coming in to assist, not the continued increase of Chinese companies.
So speaking of that, as you know, a Chinese firm won a major contract for the Kingston port expansion in 2025. What questions should the U.S. be asking about data access, port resilience, logistics, and dual-use risks?
When it comes to ports or when it comes to telecom?
Well, in this case, specifically the port.
The port. You know, from what I've been briefed on, some of the concerns are when they're controlling and seeing everything that's coming in, it puts at a great risk for our security. When they have access and control over everything coming into the country, there are huge risks. And I think the Department of War is probably looking closely at that. I'm looking forward to getting more briefings on this. As you know, everything I've been briefed on is what's publicly available. And as I learn more, I'd be happy to meet with you, or if you want to share concerns, I'd be happy to listen in.
You have a unique background in communications. How can you use that background to work with Jamaica and help them see exactly what comes with the Chinese relationship versus the U.S. relationship?
You know, a lot of, if you're not putting out your story, somebody else is. And the Americans have done such great work with our partners in Jamaica. They're our neighbors. We have a great relationship. We're culturally more similar than China is with Jamaica. And we need to tell the people what we're doing. We were on the ground in massive numbers after the hurricane. The U.S. military put out 133 flights in the hours after the hurricane struck. And we brought in almost 500, I think 480 some humanitarian and relief workers. We brought in search and rescue crews, heavy equipment to move debris off of roads. There were entire communities that were cut off. And sadly, many deaths, 45 deaths, and many, many others were hurt. 250,000 people were displaced and needed housing. America was there. We need to tell that story. We will continue to be there, but we cannot continue to watch as China makes huge moves right here in our front yard.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you've watched the entire video to the end and you have learned and understood and even heard whatever Kari Lake had to say, you know, towards Jamaica, as she is the ambassador from the United States. As to this video, we might see and, you know, confirm that there is this certainty whereby the United States and China are usually not in the same terms, and mainly because China is one of the countries that, you know, has influenced in Jamaica, or rather taken over Jamaica in such certain ways. The United States usually have got some pain in them that they want to be the one whom are associating with Jamaica alone. And as we know, China has taken some of the Jamaican bases, like, you know, and they have set their bases, their army bases in Jamaica. Despite that, we know the Chinese usually are helping Jamaica in a lot of certain ways, you know, when it comes to infrastructure and a lot of stuff, you know, even economically, mainly because when we go to Jamaica, a lot of big businesses, you know, restaurants, hotels are being owned by these Chinese, even garages, they're being owned by the Chinese. So definitely they have got an impact in Jamaica. But on to this case, the United States does not want it. They do not like it. They want to be the only country associating with Jamaica. And that's the main reasons to why I do usually say Jamaica is one of the most influential countries in the Caribbean. And for these two great power countries to come around and fight each other mainly because of Jamaica, then definitely it shows us that Jamaica has got something in it that even them alone haven't discovered yet. So these superpower countries have discovered. And again, the concerns shouts out mainly because, you know, the Chinese have set their bases in Jamaica, and Jamaica is just but a neighboring country to the United States, you know. So this gives the Chinese even more power, or rather they have got these closure in a way that they can fire back at the United States. And so it's making the states shiver in some ways. And that's why you'll find out even the president of the United States, Donald Trump, like wanting to send the Chinese out of Jamaica. You see, like these are the main factors. You know, the US is afraid of China, and so they want China out of Jamaica, mainly because Jamaica is just but a neighboring country to the United States. So it's going to give the Chinese a very good access when trying to fire at the United States. So that's why there is this fight. And because, as I told you earlier on, the United States with China, they never have, they never have gotten all along together. They are these two countries that are rivals. And so it has come to an extent that, you see, the United States had to send an ambassador, that's Kari Lake, to Jamaica and send a warning it to the Chinese, mainly because they really want the Chinese out of Jamaica, so as the United States can set their base fully in Jamaica and take control of Jamaica in some ways. We know, like, taking Jamaica it's very much easy, like just a click on the finger and they have overruled Jamaica. Mainly because when we look at Jamaica and their government, like, their prime minister is somehow of a sellout. In this case, as I can say, this is something that we all have, like we have got the testimonies to give it out. Yeah. And so just a few days ago, Mr. Andrew Holness signed up a treaty with the president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, whereby they accepted 25 of non-Jamaicans in Jamaica. Each and every 2 weeks of the month, there will be, non-Jamaicans being received in Jamaica. So you tell me, why is the Prime Minister of Jamaica making such kind of decisions for the country in a way that this is just about selling out your country? And that's why two different countries, despite of them being superpowers, are fighting for your country. You might think, oh, but you doesn't know what's going on, mainly because this is such kind of a plan. And if Jamaica do not stand up and, Jamaica is going to be taken over with these powerful countries, just easily as this. And so I think the Jamaicans in Jamaica need to set up a standard in a way that they are not supposed to be controlled by any of these countries. Despite of these countries being their associates and they are helping Jamaica in a lot of ways, but when it reaches a point to whereby they are trying to fight for your country, it definitely shows a lot. It definitely shows a lot. And like, even if Jamaica has become of an insecurity country, whereby we have seen how deaths are being encountered in Jamaica, like insecurities in Jamaica has become even much more that, like, we are hearing cases about police brutality, the shootouts and whatever. Like, does it mean you as the country cannot fight it on your own until a Western country comes around and tries to imagine it so as they can help you in it? No, you can't handle it on yourselves. But mainly because even the people whom we expect to be protecting us are the ones whom are assassinating us, definitely it shows, this country is about to fall. And so all I do empower on is Jamaicans need to step up. And so again, they need a new government, a government that will work for them, not a government that will sell them out. So guys, let's come around, share our thoughts through the comment section so we can get to interact and know what you think, and mainly because your opinion does matters to us every day. Thank you very much guys for following up the video with me. I was your host, Yadi Reacts. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving unto me. Always remember to link me up through my next videos. All I do want to say is peace out there.